It has been a very contentious 3 months on the job for Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom.
And the department has been busy. A little over a month after he took over, GRPD officer Christopher Schur shot and killed 26-year-old Patrick Lioya during a traffic stop. The killing rocked the city, made national headlines, and created a firestorm for the chief just days in. That investigation is still ongoing. On top of it all, GRPD saw their funding drop in the recently approved 2023 budget. Doug Reardon sat down with Chief Winstrom today to talk about the early hurdles that he's faced just 90 days in. Doug?
Good evening, Josh and Janice, and many they have been, guys, but nothing has taken as much of the chief's time or attention as the Patrick Lioya killing. Coming from Chicago, Winstrom was no stranger to use of force cases. It's why he says he came in with a different vision of GRPD's policies and procedures, and he did acknowledge that this is a setback for the department and for the citizens who didn't trust police before he got there. You're coming up on 90 days now, about 3 months in the job. A lot has happened. So what I want to do is start by going back to one of your first weeks on the job. Christopher Schur, one of your officers, shot and killed Patrick Lioya. That was April 4th. So now 3 months on the job and 2 months after that incident, do you stand by Officer Schur's decision on that day?
I stand by my decision not to make a judgment on the incident. I'm going to withhold judgment. Due process demands that. I don't make a judgment until I have the investigation.
And that investigation is still ongoing. A defining moment for Chief Eric Winstrom, coming just days into his fresh tenure as chief. Now, like the family of Patrick Lioya, Winstrom is anxious to see the results of a prosecutorial review that may or may not bring charges and justice to a grieving community, one with an historic distrust of Winstrom's department.
When I got hired, there was a lot of, what are you going to do to rebuild trust? What are you going to do to rebuild trust? And what I've learned over the past 3 months is I don't think the trust was ever there.
Winstrom inherited a department steeped in controversy, high-profile incidences of black children being handcuffed or held at gunpoint, pedestrians falling victim to brutal use of force, and a traffic study showing black drivers were twice as likely as white drivers to get stopped. Nothing Winstrom was here for, but things he knows about all the same. Repairing the distrust those events have sown is a work in progress, he says.
Why is he not arrested?
Because you... The Lioya killing has dominated Winstrom's first 90 days. Calls for change have come from every corner of the city since then. Even before he was hired, Winstrom says he imagined changes to the department's policies and procedures, changes he fears may not be able to happen until the Lioya investigation is finalized.
I'll just be blunt, until we get to the point where we start seeing some closure in this officer-involved shooting, I don't think true trust is really going to be able to appear between me and these groups, between the police and those groups.
Winstrom plans to announce some of those changes at the July 26th city meeting, which he's been a fixture at every week. A week ago, commissioners cleared a budget that cut GRPD's funding by 4.5% and bolstered funding for the city's Office of Oversight and Public Accountability. The city's police union is also in the middle of negotiating a contract with the city, one that, as of right now, gives them immense power over officer discipline in cases like the Lioya killing.
I don't want to talk about the negotiations as far as this contract.
On Friday, Winstrom wouldn't comment on the negotiations, except to say this.
I've spoken to the union about it. They're okay with oversight, whatever it is. They just want it to be fair.
In the wake of several mass shootings nationwide, Winstrom says GRPD is prepared and trained for those cases, as investigations into the Uvalde, Texas shooting that left 19 school children dead continues. Winstrom left no questions about how his officers would handle something similar.
Our policies are to move in and stop the threat. We're not going to set up a perimeter. We're not going to wait. We're going to move in. When there's kids to be saved, when there's civilians to be saved, we will run towards the gunfire.
There's no telling what the next 90 days will bring for the city's new chief. No matter what they do, though, Winstrom says he deeply wants to repair a bond between his officers and citizens they police that, for many, was broken long ago.
In my opinion, every incident, whether good or bad, is an opportunity for the police department to do better. So I'll commit to that, saying anytime that something like this happens, we're going to look at it. We're going to communicate. We're going to talk about it.
We talked about the $700,000 the department got in the city budget for mental health co-response. So with that funding, GRPD will now be able to respond to mental health and addiction calls alongside trained mental health staff from Network 180. And in some cases, Winstrom said an officer may not be necessary in a response at all. In the studio tonight, Doug Reardon, Fox 17 News.